So we are about days away from Clash in Paris, and we had an episode of Monday Night Raw, and if you were going to ask me what I thought about it, I would say it was okay. Now, please do forgive my voice. I'm slowly losing my voice. It hurts to talk to you right now. And it wasn't because I went to AEW Forbidden Door. That's why there's been no content the last few days. I do apologize. But it's because I wrestled at Riot Cabaret, I wrestled at Progress, and I overshouted. I got too excited. But I did get to come out to Metallica at the Progress show. I've already posted a small clip of that on the internet, Simon316 on social media. I will be posting it a lot. So you can look forward to being bored by that. But then, yes, I wasn't able to go to Raw last night in Birmingham again because I was doing my own thing. It was fine. The crowd was cool. That certainly elevated it. And it was the Roman Reigns show, which is massively important. I love the fact we're doing Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. Some people are a bit like, oh, it's a bit lame and it's a bit boring. Clash in Paris, and I mean this with all due respect, 'cause it will be a great show because, again, those fans are amazing. But if we were going to classify in the tier system, it would be a B show, right? It's not a WrestleMania. It's not a SummerSlam. It's not a Raw Rumble. And that's where we should be doing those matches. Like somebody said to me, I thought rather disparagingly, oh, it's a television match. I was like, well, that's the whole point. You take something that could be a television match, you put it on pay-per-view, and hopefully the creative team are smart enough that they'll be able to book Bronson Reed in a way. I don't think he'll win. I love it if he would, because I think Roman Reigns has got to that point now where he's bulletproof. He could lose, cut a program. Everyone's going to be crazy. He's over for life, as he should be. He put the time in. But given that I think he will win, I think that you need to come up with a way to make Bronson look like an absolute monster. I like the promo he did on Raw. Where he was like, oh man, I earned these tattoos or whatever he said. He came across like a crazy person. And you're marrying that up with the fact he steals shoes. I love it when a wrestler can do this. You're funny here, but you're serious there. And who wouldn't take Bronson Reed seriously? But the thing is this, Roman Reigns usually wins his matches clean-ish. I mean, it's usually bloodline shenanigans, but you know what I mean. And with Bronson Reed, there should be an asterisk. There should be a protection. There should be whichever word you want to use so that Bronson Reed can come out onto Raw the next time and be like, well, that was a bunch of BS. Doesn't mean you need to continue the feud or anything like that. But I mean, it still could happen for sure, but I don't want it to be Roman Reigns, Superman Punch. Roman Reigns, not even spear. I want something more than that. Maybe Paul Heyman makes a mistake, or that would be kind of crappy too. The point is, you can absolutely use this to elevate Bronson Reed, even if he does get defeated. And that's what I think we should be doing on these B shows, once again, to use that term, because the Roman Reigns, Bronson Reed feud, I don't imagine will go on for a long time. I'm sure it will pivot to Seth eventually. And the vision will break up as well. And you want to make sure that, like a Batista, like a Randy Orton from Evolution, both Bron Breaker and Bronson Reed are in a better position for it. I think we're already making the steps with that with Bron Breaker. Again, he beat LA Knight last night. Lots of nonsense going on, but WWE are in the mode of, we need to protect Bron Breaker. If we were doing Bron Breaker versus Roman Reigns at this show, I would imagine a double DQ, a count out or something. And I don't believe Bronson Reed will get that much treatment, because if there's a hierarchy in the group, he is the guy that can be beaten, which you do need. You need it in any group, but he's also better than that. So I like the fact that's going down. I like the fact that him and Roman interacted all night. He had the opening promo. Then they were fighting backstage and basically continued to fight throughout all of that. And I guess it ties into this four-way. I think problem's not the right word, but the talking point with this Clash in Paris show is, I don't think there's a lot of jeopardy in a lot of the matches. Like we had the promo off between Nikki Bella and Becky Lynch, which was fine. I don't think you should make Nikki Bella the Intercontinental Champion. I don't think it's the right time. I like that we're doing the match because we've never seen it before. And it's the same with CM Punk versus Jey Uso versus LA Knight versus Seth Rollins. I can't envision a world, should have used that, but I can't see a world where Seth Rollins loses so soon after SummerSlam, especially if you're going to do the lens of, oh my gosh, he's injured, what's going to go on, and all that kind of a jazz. And it would be great if an LA Knight won it, or a Jey Uso or a CM Punk. But I think what we're going to do here is we're going to build to something a lot bigger, and it'll be CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, round number 42,796. But the cool thing about this was, I think we should have got here sooner, but maybe I'm being unfair there because it is better when wrestling takes its time. I guess what I'm talking about was a couple of weeks ago. I felt like CM Punk and LA Knight had already fallen out, then they were buddy-buddy again. I was like, what? But then we pushed him through a table, and they're definitely done. And they had individual promos here. CM Punk does not like LA Knight, LA Knight doesn't like CM Punk. And by the end of it, after essentially Roman Reigns had gaslit him again and emotionally manipulated him, you did have Jey Uso taking everybody out, and he was standing tall. Now, wrestling tropes tell us he probably won't win on Sunday or whenever Clash in Paris is. I never thought that was going to happen anyway, but, you know, we gave him some love. We gave him a big moment, and we need to do that, because if you want to keep Jey Uso in that main event level scene, and he's going to lose, probably going to take the pin, one would hazard a guess, make sure that he's mixing it up with the CM Punk and Jey Uso, and also him not really turning on CM Punk, just standing his ground. I need more wrestling companies to do this. I like 80s nonsense, But if you are going to have essentially a babyface heel match, in the sense the babyface overwhelmed the one heel in it, they can't all just be friends. It's boring. It's lame. I don't mind when it's Hogan versus Warrior, right? That made all the sense in the world. But there is no reason for CM Punk and Jey Uso to still like each other, even though they have been friendly before. It's not like we ever established a super alliance before them. LA Knight is always an outlier. LA Knight comes across like a Stone Cold Steve Austin babyface, where it's like, I don't like any of you. I don't care what side of the team you're on. I'm going to whoop your ass. And that is CM Punk too. CM Punk, even when he was in the Nexus and he had his own group, he was manipulating those guys. He was very Roman Reigns-esque, the Roman Reigns before Roman Reigns. So I'm glad they all whooped each other's ass here, and of course that will tie into a proper match. Like, I hate it when you have four ways, all the good guys look at each other like, oh man, what are we going to do? Beat them up. Because it's a contest. You wouldn't do this in a boxing fight, would you? And I'm not saying that wrestling should be real in that sense, but sometimes don't fall into stereotypes. I think it's much more fun when you do it like this. But the match will be good, and the fans will go crazy for it. I just do not believe there's any world that Seth Rollins doesn't walk away with that championship. He probably pins Jey Uso, and then maybe we spin off into a CM Punk LA Knight feud. Do we want to see that singles match? I think I would. What is next after this? That September 20th show, which is going to be Brock Lesnar versus John Cena, WrestlePalooza. It's also the first one on ESPN. That comes across to me as more of a Saturday night's main event, so I think you could do CM Punk and LA Knight there before they venture off. I am glad we're keeping LA Knight at this level. There was a time a few months ago he really felt lost in the shuffle. He doesn't feel like that now. So that's a huge tick box, but it was all fine. Bron Breaker versus LA Knight. Obviously, Bron Breaker wins after Seth Rollins' distractions. There's too much distractions for me on the show. I don't need to tell you this anymore. You're well aware of this. And that doesn't mean I don't want any distractions. No, I want loads of shenanigans and stupidity in my wrestling. I just think the WWE is just using it as a get out of jail free card. And they do it throughout the show. So I'm like, well, that's just a bit, not even boring. It's just kind of there. And I would rather have something that stimulated me emotionally, to use absolutely ridiculous words. And I wouldn't say it was the same with Rhea Ripley versus Roxanne Perez, but that's a match I would have held off for a pay-per-view. It was really good. Rhea Ripley wins. What I do like about that is the story that's going on. Quite clearly, we have pushed fast forward on the Oscar heel turn because of the Naomi situation. I respect that, right? That's what a good booker should do. Something happens. We had this plan. We'll do it now because Naomi needs to step stage left. Oscar can step in stage right. Kairi Sane being this poor, emotionally broken woman, I find not funny because that makes it like a sociopath, but she plays it so well and I feel for her. And I enjoyed that WWE did it very on the nose this time. Like Rhea Ripley and Io Sky hugging and Oscar in the background like, oh, I'm going to get you. And then they fall out later. I mean, I do believe, and I could be wrong here, that Oscar and Io Sky wanted to have a one-on-one match on a big stage. For maybe they've never even done it before. They must have done. But that's cool. And of course, you can do the tag team match there. That's cool. Like Rhea Ripley and Io Sky taking on the Kabuki Warriors. That'd be amazing. That'd be so good. I'd throw them into the tag team division. I get Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss back. But I do like it. That's why I like the Bayley stuff too. This is kind of nonsense that I like. We should talk about it and laugh about it because it's funny. Why can we hear the inner thoughts of Bayley's head? It means she's not crazy, or we're all crazy. But I watch it in terms of it being wrestling over the top, ridiculousness. And we're teasing her going back to the hugger gimmick. We're teasing her going mega heel. We're teasing that she's got this sort of, she's lost, right? Doesn't know where she is. She talked about it in the first promo. And I admit, on the first one, I quite liked that it was grounded in reality. Then it became mad and surreal. And then I was like, it's wrestling, man. You can't keep this going for too long. I don't know why Lyra Valkyria is so concerned. That's strange to me. It makes Lyra come across like a bit of a wuss, which sounds horrible, but it's true. She shouldn't. I much preferred last week. Well, I think she's still 50-50 there. You shouldn't care about Bayley, especially because Bayley's going to go heel and she's going to destroy Lyra Valkyria. I find it weird that obviously Lyra, I would like Bayley probably. Well, then she needs to sort of fit in with Becky Lynch. I think Bayley should be going for the Intercontinental title, and she should be the one to win it. And then Lyra should win it off Becky Lynch, because then you complete that trifecta. And those three worked so well together. I don't mind doing the Nikki Bella match at all, but I don't think Nikki Bella can win, as I repeat myself. And otherwise, look, Kofi Kingston beating Penta was brilliant. It really was. It was a surprise, and I need to be surprised. And there was distraction, of course there was. And Xavier Woods selling the Canadian Destroyer, or the Mexican Destroyer, like he's broken. And Grayson Waller's very good in this role as well. And I understand why we fast-forwarded the Austin Theory thing, but it was still a little bit like, meh, could have done more there, but he's injured, and I hope he's doing okay. But if you are going to continue that feud, the heel had to win eventually. So I thought that was nice and smart. Don't really understand why it exists, which sounds mean that I meant it to, but Penta needs a couple of friends. I would imagine Andrade and Phoenix are going to turn up, and it's probably going to be the match, which is totally cool. I love that we did AJ Styles versus Finn Balor, even though it wasn't advertised beforehand. It could be the last time they ever do that in the UK. If you know their history, AJ Styles wins. We're doing the IC match next week. Dominic Mysterio is wonderful, called Adam Pearce, Charles Xavier, which made me laugh. Finn Balor was giggling in the background, so we're going to break the Judgment Day up, and they were arguing all the time. I think AJ Styles should win that. Like, France loves him. Dominic Mysterio can lose. We need some title change, especially because I don't think there's going to be a lot of changes on Clash in Paris. I would do a title change, and Dom can win it back at that September 20th show. AJ Styles does not need to hold that championship for a long time. He's flipping AJ Styles. There wouldn't be a problem with that. So, yes, I think Raw at the moment is just waiting for that Paris show. I think it's very much copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, DQ here, distraction there, interference there, confusion here. And then we'll sort of have a very fun show on the weekend. And then hopefully Raw next week, we'll really get into gear because, listen, whether it's due to competitiveness or counter-programming, there's a whole video I've talked about that. WWE is going to want to make their first show on ESPN massive. So they're going to load up that card, and that's what they're going to do. I do kind of feel like we should have struck while the iron was a bit more hot when it came to the Raw Women's Championship. It's just lost in the, we saw Adam Pearce say to Stephanie Vicaire, sorry, no title match for you. We'll sort that out next week. But that ties into what I just said. That's why I think they're waiting. Clash in Paris is there. We'll get through it. And then we've got all these sort of full stops that we need to turn into entire sentences. And really, Rhea Ripley should be going after that belt soon, right? And Neo Sky. Although I don't massively mind that spin-off because I think it's so good. And I think the matches will be wonderful. And you can do all the one-on-ones as well. I want to see Kairi Sane versus Io Sky. I want to see Rhea Ripley versus Asuka especially. Or Rhea Ripley versus Kairi Sane. That would be absolutely awesome. And I think that was pretty much everything. Again, check my What Culture wrestling content who I freelance for my full step-by-step review. This is more we've gone down the pub. We're just having a chat. I could take or leave WWE at the moment. But that happens when you have 52 weeks of programming a year. And if you feel that way too, I think it does make sense. But that's why hopefully I exist, or the internet, or spoilers, or just going on social media and watching the clips. But it's always cool to see Roman Reigns this over. And you had the interaction with Paul Heyman. And Bronson was being quite amusing too. I'm a bit worried about the Raw Tag Team belts. Again, I go on about this a lot, so I don't want to run it into the ground. Just don't get it. Like, I don't mind Finn Balor being in singles matches. Of course, JD McDonough took on... Who the flip did he take on? Dragon Lee. And Dragon Lee won. That was huge. Haven't seen that for a while. There was distractions in it. But the SmackDown division has all these belts, all these teams, and then the Raw one, who are they even fighting? And the War Raiders have vanished, and the Creeds have vanished, and you can't do the New Day again. We have to sort that out. I would actively say, and it's not on the talent's fault, it's on the creative fault, that's bad. Like they just wear belts, but we don't do anything with them, and I really do think a big faux pas that WWE made was separating these titles, and I really do think that the men's titles need to be like the women's one. It's one belt, you go from side to side. Then all the teams could do that as well. It would massively help what we're doing SmackDown, which is great matches, but the stories can be a bit directness. It's probably one of the worst things in WWE, and I don't like the term worst because it's a little bit over the top, but it's not doing a good enough job with it. I think we need to call that stuff out. However, I'm more intrigued to see what you think about all this. I'm going to have to stop talking. I think my voice is about to go, which is a joy for all of you. Let's face it, I do way too much of this stuff anyway. So before that does happen, like the video, share it, subscribe, notification bell, drop me a comment below. Listen, you may be loving Raw right now, and as I always say, you win. And I'm genuinely happy for you. There's no negative grifting here. Just because I've hit a little bit of a creative lull with WWE, one, doesn't mean they're doing anything wrong, and two, it definitely doesn't mean I'm right. It's just how I'm feeling on this particular day. So as always, if you're loving it, hell yeah, let me know. It will genuinely make me feel better because I'm a weird guy. Click the video on the screen to get some extra content from me. Otherwise, come say hello on social media. Make sure you go to grillermind.com/Simon. You go to Simon, get 10% off all of their supplements. They're great. New fitness channel, just search for Simon Miller Fitness. And then there is, what's the other one? Patreon.com/Simon316 for my watch-alongs, which we'll get back on today. Again, I haven't been at home in about a week now. Otherwise, Cameo, TikTok, Pro Wrestling Tees, and all of that stuff. You can get one of these Bald Life t-shirts that I'm now wearing to the ring in my wrestling matches, because why wouldn't I do that? I appreciate you, my friends. Thank you for the patience. And yes, I'll see you throughout the week.